Right, so back again, and all the resin is ready. The seat has all been mounted. Um, Costa Coffee or McDonald's sticks, fantastic for mounting things to be sprayed on, food clips, pegs, what have you. So basically what we're going to do now is get some primer on these guys. My choice of always is this stuff, Alclad 2, Alc 309 black micro primer, or black primer and microfiller. Now, if any of you guys have used something like Mr. Surfacer in the past, this actually acts like a Mr. Surfacer. So it fills in micro scratches and bits and pieces like that. Leaves a nice bed for the paint, the main paint to go on. Now, always give this stuff a really good shake. I have shaken it up once before I even started the video, so she's having another good shake. When using it, always use a pipette. This is priority with this stuff. It doesn't pour well, it is thin. Same with all the bottles, the mil spec, War Pig, anything like that. Use a pipette. It just saves a little bit on the mess, if you like. Alright, since we last did a video, I've changed my airbrush. Thanks to Robert Alclad for helping me out with this. We've gone to water. This is the HP TR1. I used to use, what's it called? Forgotten now. It's been been a while since I used it. Harder and Steenbeck, Evolutions and Ultras. To be truthful, I was disappointed. The amount they got used over the last 2-3 years. The quality, although they're German made, just wasn't there. Didn't find it any good. I got put on to Iwata by a gentleman who I've got quite friendly with and has shown me the way. Basically with this, it's a trigger brush. I'm used to using a over the top, but you get a less feeling with a top button than you do, or a top pull, than you do with a trigger brush. All you do with this, pull it back for air, and you can feel the stop. That's the bit, so you can control your paint work. You don't tend to overflow so much because you've got more control. Compressor is set at 12 psi, just right for Alclad, apart from the gloss, which you need to turn the pressure up for. But we'll explain that later when we do the models. Right, so got a primer. Oh, hang on, take the cap off. Always use the cap so you don't spill it anywhere. Nice amount, don't need too much. You can always refill it. Put it in, cap on, and check your flow. As I said, air, paint, air, paint, and then check your flow. So that's pretty handy, working nicely, nice and steady. We'll get good flow on it. Right, so what we'll do is we'll prime up the seat pads, which are in PE and will be added to the seat later on, so we'll get them done first. Just gently feel your way into it. The one thing about this stuff, it self levels as well, so if you do go just slightly over the top, it'll level down and it'll be fine. You can see I just did that, so just blow it on it, and within 5 minutes or less, that's ready to paint. But they're the pads, so we'll paint them separate later. Then we have, of course, beautiful, beautiful Brassin seat, and I love this. So what we're going to do is just gradually build up the primer to give it that dark look. I mean, the reason that I use black primer rather than grey is the black primer, when the main paint goes over, if you're going to put on a light coat of paint, well, to be honest, it's basically the same preference, the same reason that we pre-shade. It gives depth. So the main cockpit, or the seat, what we're doing now, is going to have just those little dark places, dark edges, areas where you get in, and it just gives that little bit extra. The detail shows up a lot better, as you can see. I don't know how well you can see that on this camera, but she's, for how long that took, what, 30 seconds, she's all primed up, she's ready to run, ready for her main colour. Now, to be honest, if I'm doing matte black, I use the black primer now. I don't tend not to use any other blacks. We do have a black in the mil-spec colour. I have used that before, very, very good. But what's the point in painting it twice when you've already got a really decent colour? Stand it out of the way. And then we got loads to paint, so we'll paint on the cockpit top, just to get a bit of paint onto her, ready to glue all together, making sure you're getting into all the areas. There's not a lot on there, just everything that shows needs to be painted. I'm going to do two things. I'm going to try the two ways. There's actually three ways of painting or doing the instrument panel on this. There's the single one, which has got all the detail engraved, and that's ready to be hand painted. There are a lot of skilled hand painters out there. I'm not one of them. I prefer an airbrush. If I didn't have an airbrush, I wouldn't be doing this hobby, because my brush skills are absolutely rubbish compared to people like Conrad on my Facebook page, Alan Hooker and so on. I'm useless at it. I can't touch what they do. So basically, I'm going to have a go at painting this by hand. If not, I'm going to spray the other unit, and we can use the photo etch that comes with the Brassin. So give this all a nice spray coat, getting in all the little areas. Sorry about the noise compressor. Oop. There you go, that's fine. That'll still be dry, so that's no issues. There you go, warts and all. So it does happen. Let's say, just getting the spray in. That's that one. Then we have the military radar. Get that all sprayed black, and that will stay black. And same on all the little parts that go with it. As I said, I tend to use this black all the time now, because it is a beautiful flat black, as you can see when she dries, and she'll come out lovely. Right, that's those. There are some other little bits to do. I'll do that other panel. This is the other instrument panel. This is just in case my painting skills aren't up to it. So just a little bit of primer onto her because she'll be painted emerald green in a few moments. Got the ejector right, ready to go on. This part actually gets glued to the back bulkhead. Did I get that? Missed a bit, there you go. So that's coming along. Just see a little bit on that seat I missed, got it. Right, so we've got the instrument panel unit itself. Give some paint onto that. Take that off there. Just for now. What did I do with it? There it is. We'll put it on a cocktail stick. Just so that we can do that. And we'll get it right in a minute. With the white tack, get a sticky bit, just put it on. Rub any rubbish away that I may have caused, because no one may I have. And then put the filler over around each side. So that's ready. Two types of center console. Again, spray them up. Don't know which one I'm going to use. Parts for the helmet. Plonking it away. The joystick. See, I'll leave these mounted on the blocks. It's so much easier to spray and get a good finish on. Some little knobs and bobs which go on the HUD and at the back of the cockpit tub. All sprayed nicely. And yet again, coming in at all the angles so that everything is sprayed. Rudder pedals, these will have PE fitted to them in a moment, or when they're painted and dried. So that's ready. And then the tub itself. Now I haven't mounted this on anything because I want to be able to have full movement so I can get in there. And we'll get some micro primer in there. Again, giving it a bit more depth. It's going to be hard for the camera to pick this up, especially over a white towel, I know. But as you can see, well, I don't know if you can see, but I'm trying to get in at every conceivable angle because we want that depth. Dry it off a little, spray the tops. So while we've got a little bit of paint still left in the brush, what we'll do is do other little bits that need priming ready for later. A nice wheel well detail. Again, this is all just good to give it some depth. And on the edges of the inside, although we'll make these up later and we'll probably spray them again, but because we've got the paint, we might as well do it. You can see that is touch dry. We've got wheel wells to paint, systems, so we'll do those. As I said, to control the Iwata airbrush is much easier than the harder and Steenbeck that I've been using. We can pick the detail out in that in a little while. Just other parts, where are they? Right, another piece here. Get that all nicely primed in. Another one here. Like that. Cockpit floor. It's just the front, I believe. Just check your effort. I'll do the whole thing and it was cut up later. This is the only reason I'm doing this because I've actually got paint in the airbrush, so you might as well use it. Daft not to. That looks good. Get that in. What we got on here? We can do missiles. Shan't be doing the engines as yet. We'll cut out the rest to fill up later. We're not going to use much off of there either. Nope, that's about it. We'll just give the, because we're going to use, be careful, don't spill paint, because we're going to use this one, the air brake open, give that a quick spray. Well, we've got paint, and the same with this one. This is the air brake, in and out. Okay, now into the fuselage so that we're spraying where the cockpit is, because we don't know what's going to be seen as yet. Okay, into the engine area, but that's the end of the paint, so we don't worry about that for now. What I'll do now, I'll clean the brush out and we'll get ready for the main coat of paint.